I forgot to say in my last video, but thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. I can't believe we're here. And if I'm being completely honest, I still haven't told any of my friends or family that I have a YouTube channel. I think I'm gonna keep it that way for now. So today we'll be filming my top 10 books of 2024. I can't believe we're already filming this video. Also, I need to film this video really quickly because my phone's about to die. I think it's at like 25% right now. I did put these books in order of like top 10. The thing is, the 10th spot isn't really the 10th spot. It's more like an honorable mentions category sort of thing. The top 3 were also really hard. I feel like the top 3 are very interchangeable. Like if I switched the 3rd spot to the 1st spot, I'd just be like, yeah, that's pretty much right. I have a lot more honorable mentions than I meant. Like there's like 6 books in the number 10 spot right now. I really didn't mean for it to get this out of hand. I meant to pick like exactly 10 books. I'm just be like, okay, I'm gonna be precise this year. Also with series, I do normally like clump series together, but this year I kind of chose like a representative from each series of one that I thought was the best book in that series. I also think of it as it's the entire series in that same singular spot. It's just I chose one representative book that I liked the best. With the number 10 spot, with the honorable mentions, I'm gonna go really quickly, and then from 1 to 9 I'm gonna explain like why I like the book. So here we go. In number 10 in the honorable mentions, first up is None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. I rated this book a 4 out of 5. This one's similar to The Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It's about these 2 teenagers interviewing other teenagers who are serial killers. There's also like a really good subplot romance in here. Next one is The Downstairs Girl by Stacey Lee. Subplot romance in here also really good. I also rated this book a 4 out of 5. It was one of my first historical fictions that I read this year. Actually, I think this is the only historical fiction I read this year. Next one is More Than We Can Tell by Bridget Kemmerer. It's the second book in the Letters to the Lost series. I read the first book last year. I rated this book a 4 out of 5. Bridget Kemmerer's contemporary romance books are so good though. Like I would give anything for her to write another one. Next one is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I rated the entire series like a 4 to a 4.5 out of 5. With the first book though, I did rate it a 4.5. Abby Jimenez's writing is so easy to read. She's like one of the few adult romance authors I actually like. Next one is Imogen Obviously by Becky Albertalli. I rated this book a 4.25 out of 5. This relationship was so cute. I love this couple so much. Next one is Loveless by Alice Oseman. Love the side couple in this. I also love the main character because I feel like a lot of her lines in this book were so relatable. Next one we have An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I've only read the first 2 books. I still need to read the last 2. The first book and the second book I rated a 5 out of 5. And last one in honorable mentions, The Boy Who Steals Houses by C.T. Drews. I also rated this one a 5 out of 5. Originally I rated this one a 4.75 out of 5, but then I was just like, I like this book way too much. I'm just gonna change it back to a 5 out of 5. Okay, and now we're gonna go from 9 to 1. So in the number 9 spot, we have Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alir Seyon. I like the first book out of this duology, although the second book was also really good. I did rate that one a 5 out of 5 as well. The rest of these books from 9 to 1, I rated all of them a 5 out of 5. So this book is about Aristotle, and one day he meets a boy named Dante, and it kind of just changes his whole life, and they start this really cute friendship that later turns into a romance. Aristotle is very much in denial for like a majority of this book, but then when he's finally like, I think I'm in love with this guy, best moment in the book ever. Honestly, I also love this book because it ended when they got together. Also, Benjamin Alir Seyon's writing is like really poetic. I really like his writing style. Like immediately after I finished this book, my first thought was I want to reread this book now. I heard they also turned this into a movie. I haven't watched the movie yet. I don't know if I want to. This whole book honestly just felt kind of like Aristotle's love poem to Dante sort of thing. Like the entire book was in his perspective. I thought we would be switching POVs, but nope, it's just in Aristotle's perspective, and it's just him falling in love with Dante really slowly as their friendship progresses. In the number 8 spot, we have The Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. It's the second book in the Shades of Magic series. So the first book in the series was basically setting up Kel and Lila's relationship, and then this one they like finally kind of realized their feelings sort of thing. Also, they reunited in this book. So basically the Shades of Magic series is about a magician named Kel who can travel to different Londons, and the different Londons in this world are kind of like different universes, I guess. And he meets this girl named Lila one day who lives in a different London than him, and they kind of have to team up because Kel gets into trouble with a London he wasn't supposed to get involved with. This second book though is about a tournament, which I really wasn't expecting for some reason. Like I feel like it just came out of nowhere because I don't read synopsises of books anymore, but I love the progression of their relationship because there was basically like almost no romance in the first book, and then in the second book, the whole time they were apart, they just kept thinking of each other, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with this. There was also another couple that got introduced in the second book. I really liked them. It was between like the prince and this pirate sort of guy. I also loved like the magic system. I really did like the whole London London thing where certain magicians can travel to different Londons. V.E. Schwab's worlds are always so interesting though. Like every single one of their books that I read, I always get so immersed in the world. And the characters, I become so attached to the characters. I'm a very character-driven reader. My favorite character in the series was Lila. Just like her witty personality and like her confidence and everything was so fun to read. And there is POV switches in these books. In the number 7 spot, we have 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews. Oh my god, this book, it had me crying at like 1 a.m. in the morning in my bed. I just had my phone flashlight on and I was reading in my bed, and by the time I finished, tears were just streaming down my face. I was literally thinking, oh my god, what the hell just happened? So this book is about a boy named Beck, and his mom used to be a very famous pianist until she couldn't use her hands anymore, and so she kind of forced her dream onto her son Beck. She's very abusive, and Beck has to like do what she says to protect his sister, and he kind of lives in that dark world for a while, trapped in his house playing the piano until he meets this girl named August who kind of changes his world for the better. She's like the sunshiny character, and he's like the boy who isn't supposed to make friends, and so he's really quiet sort of type. Beck's and August's interactions were so cute though, especially when he like finally went to her house for the first time and she like got him to open up and everything, and they started talking, became friends eventually. Then they like had this little romance and it was so cute. This book was so tragic, and yet some bits made me so happy, and then the ending made me so sad. It just was like a whirl of emotions. It was an immediate 5 stars when I finished this book. I'm just like, oh my god, yes, this is my favorite C.G. Drews book that I ever read by them. This is the type of book where a person just asks me to give them a random recommendation, and I give them this book every single time because I feel like it's so underrated. In the number 6 spot, we have All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the 3rd book in the Natural series. Oh my god, this series was everything. This was my first time reading a mystery series and also my first time reading a mystery book. This series literally made me want to go searching for other mystery books, and Jennifer Lynn Barnes did such a good job of like interconnecting the books. Oh my god, you literally have to pay attention to everything. It's kind of scary. So these books are about 5 teenagers, I think, who have like these special abilities. There's like profiling, and a girl who's really good at math, a girl who's good at lie detecting, and then a guy who's really good at like reading emotions. Our main character is Cassie. Her mom was murdered. She's been by herself for like the longest time until this random guy comes up to her and he's like, can you profile that guy for me? And so she kind of gets asked to join this program that's filled with like naturals who have special abilities like she does, so they can solve cold cases for the FBI. Very Criminal Minds. I actually watched Criminal Minds thanks to these books, and I loved like all the characters. Oh my god, my favorite character in these books was Sloane. Sloane was so cute. And there's this one quote from this book that I just can't get out of my head. I think it's something like, if we had normal childhoods, then we wouldn't be naturals. And when you read the next book in the series, it gets better and better. This 3rd book was my favorite, especially because of the ending. It's just like there were so many twists and turns, and it's just like you always get this feeling of you should have expected it, but you didn't. Like you fully didn't. The way Jennifer Lynn Barnes planned out these books, I'm seriously wondering how she did it. Like I'm so curious because that's how well done it was. I mean, obviously this was my first time reading a mystery series, but this series is like a pretty popular one, I feel like, so I have a feeling a lot of people would agree. The 3rd book was also about Sloane, which is probably another reason why I liked it. I also liked how we got to know the characters through Cassie's perspective because she's the only perspective we get in this series, and I also liked how each character sort of got their own book, so then we got to fully know them through Cassie's eyes. There was also a love triangle in here, and I actually kind of loved it. Normally I don't love love triangles, but also I don't normally read about love triangles. If you watch my reading vlog of me reading the Naturals, you know who my favorite is. I love this romance in this book so much. I read this whole entire series all the way through from book 1 to book 4. Did not take any breaks whatsoever. In the number 5 spot, we have You and Me by Tal Bauer. This was the first Tal Bauer book I ever read. I was so surprised. I really want to read the rest of his books now. So this is an romance, and it was between our main character Luke and his love interest Landon. They're both single dads. This was like a friends to lovers sort of trope. So Luke is having trouble getting along with his son ever since his wife died, and so he wants to try reconnecting with his son Emmett. And so he meets Landon one day at the football field, and Landon offers Luke a position with this group of parents that help out the football team every now and then, because Emmett is a part of that football team and Landon's son is also a part of that football team. And so through that program, I guess, they kind of get to know each other, start hanging out more, become friends, and then it's Luke just slowly falling in love. The bi awakening in this book, oh my god. Like the entire time you could tell Landon was like, I can't fall in love with this guy, he's straight, but then Luke is just slowly falling in love without Landon knowing. Even though it was so obvious, like you could tell they were already both in love when they weren't even together. I love that feeling so much though, like the fact that it was so obvious, and the fact that their sons are best friends too. Their relationship was just perfect. They were so perfect. I loved them so much. I reread this book so many times actually, like within a week. Like that's how you know when I love a book, like when I go back to read like scenes over and over again. In the 4th spot, we have Sunreach by Brandon Sanderson and Jancy Patterson. This is the first Skyward novella. Oh my god, god, the Skyward novellas were so good though. Like they were honestly one of the best parts of the series. But I especially love Sunreach because there was this romance between our main character FM and this guy named Rig. FM is like the cute type where she gets along with animals, and then Rig is the mechanic who's like really shy but is also kind of like sunshiny. They were both so sunshiny and both so cute. I love their relationship so much. So Skyward in its entirety is about the humans who are on the brink of extinction and they're forced to become pilots to fight back against the aliens. And this novella was kind of just figuring out like a new piece of technology. Just FM and Rig hanging out in this book though. Like FM was so clueless in the beginning. The whole time she was thinking before she got to know Rig, like, why does he keep avoiding my gaze? Like, does he hate me or something? And then literally Rig tells her, you know I have a crush on you, right? And then FM is fully like, oh my god, I'm an idiot. And the whole time she just keeps thinking about the moment when Rig told her that he had a crush on her, because she doesn't immediately like respond like, oh, I like you too. No, it's just like this thing that Rig lets settle. Like she just fully tells her, and then they kind of don't talk about it for a while, and then FM slowly starts to fall in love with him, and it was so good. Like honestly, if you start reading the Skyward series just because of these novellas, I would not blame you. But you have to read book 1 to book 3 and then the novellas, because you might be very confused if you just start off with the novellas. Sunreach was also really funny too. Like the humor in the part where they were experimenting with the slugs. I know that sounds really weird if you don't know what I'm talking about, but there's slugs in these books and they were kind of like trying to get along with the slugs and stuff to like see how they lived, sort of thing. I don't really know how to explain this without like spoiling you guys. That part was just so funny. I didn't expect like that much humor in this book, if I'm being honest. Okay, now we're getting into the top 3 again. These 3 are very interchangeable. Also, I forgot to mention, I am like slightly biased when it comes to like books I've read like later in the year, obviously because I remember them a bit more, but some of these I did read near like the beginning of the year, so I'm not that biased, but I am sort of biased when it comes to like one of these options in the top 3. In the 3rd spot, we have This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab, which is the Monsters of Verity book 1. So this book is about Kate and August, Kate being a human who is trying to please her father, and then we have August who's a monster. So this city is split into 2 and monsters are kind of roaming around this world, and on each side of the city we have one side who's kind of like very violent and uses the monsters, and then on the other side we have August and his sort of family, and they're trying to fight against the monsters. So I know it sounds kind of weird since August is a monster that he's fighting against monsters, but it kind of makes more sense when you read the book, obviously. This couple though, oh my god, I love the bleacher scenes in this book, like them just talking and getting to know each other. It was like the calmest point in the book, but it was like the best parts to me. This is like secret enemies to lovers, and obviously the romance is between a monster and a human. So Kate and August kind of meet one day and they don't know each other is like on the enemy side. One day one of them find out, they kind of try to kill each other, sort of thing. That was only for a bit until another enemy comes in and they start hunting down both August and Kate, and so they kind of have to go on the run together, work together. The entire time they were on the run, there actually wasn't too much romance in this book, but it was like setting it up obviously, and I was just so giddy reading it the entire time. And when I finished this book, oh my god, I like wasn't expecting it to become one of my favorites. When I first finished this book, I rated it a 4.25 out of 5, and then one day in the middle of the night, my eyes just suddenly popped open at 2 a.m. and I was thinking about this exact book. It was the weirdest feeling. Like that's never happened to me before, because I had just read the first book but I didn't have the second book. I had ordered the second book immediately after I finished this first book, but this was like the first time I just randomly woke up in the middle of the night and thought about a book. Like it was so random. Like I don't know why. I couldn't go back to sleep for like another 2 hours because I just kept thinking, oh my god, I want to read the second book so badly. Like that's how obsessed I was with this. This duology is so good though, so I highly recommend. Okay, in second place we have The Raven King by Nora Sakovic, and it's book 2 in the All for the Game series. Oh my god, this book, I've reread it so many times. Like I just randomly open the book, go to some of my favorite scenes, start reading, and then I never stop. In the first book there's like no romance at all, and then the second book you just see like who the love interest is. Like in the first book you don't even know who the love interest is, which is like the best feeling ever. It's like you kind of know, like you have a feeling but you don't fully know, you know, until the second book, which was like the best thing ever. So the All for the Game series is about Neil, and he's on the run from like his crazy father, but he also likes this sport called Exy, which is like this made-up sport in this book, and it's like a really popular sport too. One day he's kind of just playing in this high school team, and this random college coach comes to ask him like, do you want to join my team? He joins this like very infamous Exy team called the Foxes, and it's like this whole found family thing and like just these friendships, and like the couple in this book, oh my god, it was like the best thing ever. Also this sport, I'm like so sad it's made up because it's like so fun. It's like similar to rugby and hockey, I guess. I don't really know what mixture of sports this is actually, but it was like so exciting. I got like so invested in this made up game. Also Neil kept his identity a secret for like the entirety of this book because his father was like a really dangerous man and he was planning to run away for like the entirety of the series, but obviously he didn't because he found his like newfound family who's not crazy and who's not trying to kill him and who love him very much. I also loved how he got to know every single character, sort of like developed a friendship, and like how all these characters were so complex. Like I love every single one of them. Okay, and then first place, this is the one I'm very biased to because it's my current obsession. It's Heaven Official's Blessing by Mo Shang Tongchu. So I've only fully read the first book. I'm reading the second book right now. I'm not even kidding you. This is my current obsession. Like, yes, I might be slightly biased because I'm reading it in the current present. It's so good. It's like so slow burn. So slow burn. The romance is also subplot, which I'm also very biased towards. This couple is so perfect though. I love them so much. So I literally don't think I can pronounce any of these names because they're all in Chinese, but it's about our main character who's like this outcast prince from like this god world, and then his love interest is from the ghost realm. So in this world, you can like ascend to the god world from the mortal realm. Our main character has ascended to the god realm 3 times, and we're currently reading about his 3rd ascension. The reason why he's hated was because his 2nd ascension wasn't exactly the best, and so now everyone hates him. But in his 3rd ascension, he's like this new person. He's like matured quite a bit, and so we're kind of just reading about him like solving things, kind of redeeming himself. It's sort of just like we're getting glimpses of his past, but also like these new things happening that he needs to solve. This couple in this book though, oh my god, they're like really sort of calm feeling, I guess. Like I don't know how to explain them because they make me so happy. But it's just like there's such like a relaxed vibe around them, and like every single little interaction they have, I overreact so much. It's like the best thing ever to read about. There's like very little romance in the first book. There's almost none, and like in the second book that I'm reading right now, the relationship is progressing like the tiniest bit, and there's 8 books in the series. I can't wait to read all of them because the first 2 books were adapted into an anime. After the first 2 books, I'll have no clue at all what happens, even though it's been a while since I watched the anime and I really can't remember what happened in them. So basically I'm still going into the second book sort of blind. When I get to the 3rd book, I'll have like basically 0 clue on what's gonna happen, which I'm so excited for. Oh my god, it was also Secret Identity too, but it was also just like you kind of knew all along sort of thing, but he really didn't care because he obviously like got to know him. And then when the reveal happened, it was like so chill, so relaxed, and they were just like both smiley, just talking about it, and they were just like kind of flirting with each other. Oh my god, he was given a ring. They're like basically married when they don't even know it, and like they were cooking for each other. They were cleaning their tiny little temple together. I just love them so much. Like they make me so happy, and I'm so excited to continue reading about them. But anyways, it's almost been 50 minutes. I need to go shopping for a couple more Christmas presents tomorrow, so I need to go to sleep. Also, I think this video is gonna come out after Christmas, but even still, merry belated Christmas. Yeah, that's basically the end of this video. Let me know down in the comments what your top 3 books of the year were. Maybe, I don't know, maybe top 1 if you can't really think of top 3, but preferably top 3 because I want as many options as I can get. And yeah, that's pretty much all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.